now your host, Mr. Swiss Rocky!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to This Week in a Flash. I am super excited about this week's episode. We have a very talented guest to welcome onto the show tonight. This week, your daily lessons will again consist of 3 parts. Some of your classmates will lead rhythm echoes. You and I will play duets together. We will also review our study of improvisation using the concert B-flat blues scale. All of this will be posted in your Google Classroom. Your final mission playing test will be posted on Tuesday. The rhythm dictation GimKit assignment is due on Wednesday by 3:05 p.m. And you will receive a new GimKit assignment on Thursday to help you review the simple rhythm math for our Google Quiz retake later this month. Finally, I created another grid to help you keep everything organized. Remember, the assignments do not post until 9 a.m. on the day they are listed on this grid. Coming up after the break is my interview with this week's guest, musician and composer Christian Tinney. My guest today is a former student and current member of the Riverside Regiment. He is a talented percussionist, but plays many other instruments, including the piano. He has written and recorded his own music, which appears on YouTube and iTunes. Please welcome to the show, Christian Tinney. You were one of my best percussion players back in middle school. You also played some piano, and since then you've just, expanded your range as far as performing and making music. So I wanted my students to get to know you a little bit, and I'm happy you agreed to this interview.
Sure.
All right, let's get started. What first got you into music, or who inspired you to make music?
So it all started a while back, a couple years ago, actually, when I was watching a bunch of videos of people who would record themselves and then record themselves again, and then they would put it all together to make these beautiful songs. And I thought, this seems simple enough. Why don't I give it a try? So I was gifted my first guitar from my uncle, and I got right to it. I created a couple of short medleys, and then I wanted to go bigger, so I published Harmonics Guys on my YouTube channel, and after getting some positive reviews, I just wanted to keep going.
Wow, that sounds cool. How would you describe the music that you typically create?
My main goal is to make it very easy to listen to, very relaxing. Um, my favorite kinds of songs are the ones where you can just listen to it wherever you are, whenever, and you can just relax to it. And I try to bring that out in my music and just make it enjoyable to people.
I think you're doing a good job of reaching that goal. I remember you as being a very talented but also reserved student, very humble, and that vibe comes across very well in the latest track that I listened to on YouTube. What is your creative process like, and what type of equipment do you use?
The creative process is really all over the place. I start off by finding a chord progression that I like, just playing around on an instrument, and then I keep going and I add all the little special effects, all the other instruments. Then I add some vocals, and I mean it's a really fun process to go through. I have a bunch of drafts that I just have a lot of fun making. Um, as for what I use, I have an electric piano and guitars, and both of them just plug straight into my computer, and it's all really easy to use. So it's not much of a hassle at all.
I have an extra question. You were a percussionist, like I mentioned, and still are in the regiment. Do you use pre-recorded percussion stuff for your music, or do you record your own and then sample that in?
Well, it's a bit of both. It's not live in the sense of like a drum set, a physical drum set. I play it on the keyboard um, through the sounds that are already on there. The reason being, I don't have mics that are good enough to record the drum set at the moment. It all sounds just like a bunch of loud noises. So until I have those kinds of mics, I'll just stick to the keyboard.
Excellent. That's good to know. All right. What famous musicians do you admire or who have actually inspired your music?
Um, I'd say one of the big ones are Kevin Parker, who writes all of the songs for the famous band Tame Impala, and just listening to them really inspires me to be different and just put myself out there. And they really inspired my whole relaxing and just that whole vibe is just inspired by them. A couple others are Hippocampus, Joji, Saba, and some other small creators that are just brave enough to put themselves out there.
Okay. Have you ever performed your music live, or have had any paid gigs?
Not yet. Until I have built up my repertoire, I'm just sticking to uh, creating songs. I'd like to, hopefully, over the summer, if I have a big enough collection, I can do some live performances. But until then, I'm just stuck making music.
That's a good thing to be doing, though. You want to build up that repertoire first. That's a good plan. What is your favorite song to perform? Either one of your originals or one of the covers?
I would have to say Monsoon by Hippocampus is just my favorite song to perform of all time. It has a lot of emotional value to me, and it was the first song where I really sat down and just learned the words, learned the piano part, and it's just a lot of fun for me to perform.
I agree. That was one of your latest posts on your YouTube channel, and I thought that was very good emotional piece there. That was really nice. So obviously we're all in self-quarantine right now, but once we get through this epidemic, this pandemic, what is next for you? Where do you see yourself in the future in a year or so?
So after building my collection, I hope to look at colleges with digital mixing and composition courses because I mean this is what I want to do as a career, and the only way to improve is for me to just keep at it and keep pursuing it. So that's my goal.
I'm very proud of you. Like I said before, you were a very talented musician in middle school. You've continued to grow as a composer and performer in the high school, and it makes me happy to hear that you want to pursue this as a career. That's fantastic. Now, I was hoping you'd have something maybe you'd like to share with my audience, maybe a song that you could play for us.
Sure thing.
Okay, well, we'll get to that right after the break. I'd like to thank Christian Tinney. Thanks for being on the show and just being a great interview.
Thank you for having me.
All right, take care and stay healthy.
You too. Keep your head above all the clouds. You're much too high to come back down. I can feel myself seeing blue. Busy streets are empty below. The blowing wind is all you hear now. Everything is speechless around you. But forever's too long for you to be gone. Won't you come back down? I can't handle life on the ground. How long will you be miles away from being with me? No, it's not fun looking at the sky to think of you.
All right, that is our show this week. I'd like to thank Christian Tinney for appearing on the show today and tell you that I pray for you all the time. I pray for your health as well as patience. For you, your mom and dad, and your brothers and sisters. We will get through this pandemic. In the meantime, wash your hands and stay safe. See you next week.